Hey gorgeous, and handsomes too. Let me know which one you are. Red hearts for gorgeous, hot red hearts for handsomes. Let me know about you guys. Moving to the video today, we are gonna see what if Bella faced Loki in a battle. So let's move into the video together. Watch where you're going, lady. I hear from the car that nearly made me a pancake on the asphalt. I'm sorry, I yelled out, continuing my run to work. Shit, I am so late. Going from a small town like Forks to the hustle and bustle of New York City was a big adjustment, one I'm still trying to adjust to after 2 years here. Charlie worried about my sanity when I told him I was going to move here to go to school. But I needed this. I needed to be away from that place and all of the memories that trapped me there. Edward was gone, and the longer he was gone, the smaller the hole in my heart was. I look back on our former relationship now with a tinge of anger at myself and him. I was young and naive and thought Edward was my whole life, and I lost myself by trying to be everything he needed and wanted, and completely fell apart with no purpose when he left me. New York was my move to fix myself. I left as soon as I graduated so I could get situated in a new place before school. And now I'm halfway through my degree in literature. I currently hold 2 jobs, a waitress at this old-fashioned diner, and a bookkeeper at the library near my apartment. And currently, I'm late to the diner. I stumbled in 10 minutes late for my shift, gasping for breath as I yelled out an apology to Dan, the owner, and my boss. As soon as I punched in, I was taking orders for customers left and right. It was Sunday, and we always had a big track for Sunday mornings. As I worked throughout my shift, I made conversation with my regulars and talked a bit to Josie, my coworker here. She was telling me all about this new guy she was seeing, the 3rd one this month, and how they just clicked so well. How this girl fell in and out of love so easily I will never understand. I never met anyone after Edward. I wanted to focus fully on me and my degree before I put my heart into another man's hands, and being halfway to my bachelor's, I wasn't in any sort of rush to meet anyone new. After my shift ended, with a whopping 130 in tips, a new record for this kind of shift, I bustled to the library to get a book for my assignment in Lit. I decided while I was there, I could pick up some light reading, and started sifting through the shelves for something that caught my eye. New romance novel, new mystery novel, a biography, a vampire romance. Okay, that's enough for today. I ended up grabbing a book that's supposed to be a horror mystery and went to the checkout line. I saw Carrie, my boss, at the computer and gave her a smile. Hey Carrie, how are you? Oh, Bella, she exclaimed. Pretty slow day, but it's nice right now. We have a kids reading group coming later on this afternoon. How are you, dear? I'm doing good. I figured I'd get caught up on some assignments and picked out a new read while I'm here. Do you need me to help out with the reading today? No, Bella, you take advantage of your day off. I swear, you're going to work yourself to death if you don't slow down, dear. Go do your schoolwork. There will still be work to be done when you come back tomorrow. Okay, Carrie. I smiled. Hope you have a good day. So you tomorrow. I left and quickly headed home to do my schoolwork and turned on the news while I gathered my things. I paused when I heard a few phrases. As you can see, Iron Man is fighting off these creatures, and New York has been rampant with them. At the center, we see Captain America and Black Widow on the ground, and Hulk is, well, smashing whatever he gets his hands on. Is this too much for even the Avengers to handle? We will keep you updated here on News 6. I zeroed in on the television. That was happening now. It seems like it was happening on the other side of New York, but just as I was thinking about it, my cell phone rang. I knew it was Charlie without even looking at the caller ID and put it to my ear, not looking away from the TV. Dad. Bella. He sounded panicked. Please tell me you're not near that. You see it right? What the hell is going on? Are you safe? Dad, I said. Calm down. I'm nowhere near all that chaos. I'm safe. I'm watching it on the TV now though. But as soon as I said that, there was a loud bang, and I felt my entire apartment shake. Shit, I whispered. God, Bella, please tell me that's not what it sounded like. Dad, I love you, but I need to hang up so I can figure out what's going on and get out of here if I have to. I'll call you as soon as I know what's happened. I love you. I snapped the phone shut, not wanting to hear him say for the 100th time how he shouldn't have let me move to the same state as the Avengers, where most problems seem to be occurring as of right now. I turned my TV off and yanked my door open, seeing the people on my floor scrambling down the halls and the stairs. I quickly grabbed my phone and my gun, then hesitated at my door, turning to look at my apartment. God, please don't take my apartment in this fight. I have nowhere to go if you do. As soon as I got to the streets outside my building, it was clear the fight had spread here. I stood stock still staring at the creatures in the sky, on the walls of the buildings around me, on the street. I was pushed by someone as they ran, and it got me moving. With my keys in a death grip and my hand on my gun, I ran down the street. The sounds they were making were unearthly, like shrieks from a corpse. The large flying creatures almost appeared metallic, with groaning sounds every turn they made. All of a sudden, there was a gray creature in front of me, and I aimed my gun at their fucking ugly face, and pulled the trigger without hesitation. Fuck, what did I do? I thought. I heard a cry and turned to my left, seeing a small girl screaming as a creature was barreling towards her. I immediately aimed and fired again, running towards the girl. I picked her up and pulled her into an alleyway. "Where's your parents?" I asked hurriedly. She sobbed. "I don't know. I lost my mommy." I looked around before I looked down at her. "Stay close to me. Do not look at them, only look at me, okay? I'll get you to safety." I grabbed her hand and ran, trying to get us both out of the fray of this fight. I saw another creature above us, screeching as they leapt down. I shot at it and watched it fall in front of us. The girl screamed and I looked at her. "Don't look," I said to her again. "Just keep holding my hand, I've got you." Suddenly, in my distraction, there was a creature barreling toward us again. But this time, my gun wasn't what stopped it. The shield bounced off its head and swung back like a boomerang, and I whipped my head to the source. Seeing him on the and in real life were two very different experiences. His lip was bloody, part of his suit torn, and he was covered in dirt. Yet, he was still strangely attractive. I didn't take my eyes off of him as I aimed my gun at the creature that was now screeching at him for hitting him, and fired, and the screeching halted. He looked at me a moment before he turned to face another creature that came behind him. "Get out of here," he yelled back, and I knew he was talking to me. I didn't have to be told twice, and instead of tugging this little girl along, I scooped her into my arms and pushed her face into my neck to prevent her vision of the chaos around us, and I ran. The police station was nearby. I'd take her there. Thank God Charlie is going to kill me, but I can't not fight for my home. I pushed the door to the station open and ran the girl to the front desk. I placed her on her feet and bent down, looking her in her geary eyes. "These nice people are the police. You know who police officers are, right?" I asked. She nodded and sniffled. "Will they help me find my mommy?" she asked quietly, and I nodded. I turned to the officer at the desk. "She lost her mom. I found her on the streets in the middle of the fight. I brought her here." He nodded and took the girl by the hand, and without waiting to see if he had any questions for me, I ran out of the station's double doors. I looked to my right, where I had come from, and to my left. I charged to the right, seeing the creatures running through the streets, and it seemed the Avengers were trying their hardest to hold them off. I fired off a couple shots at random creatures as I passed, and hid in the alleyway as I fired at any that got through any defenses. Once I ran out of bullets, I pulled my box out of my jacket and filled the chamber. Charlie would be proud that I remembered him teaching me to always have extra bullets on me, just in case. You know, I didn't really care for the creatures. They were a means to an end. But I am rather surprised by the will these soldiers have to defend their city. A voice sounded behind me. I whipped around and saw a man with shoulder-length black hair, with green and black garments. I held up my gun to his face, and he smirked. "Now what do you plan to do with that, mortal? In case you don't know what this is, it lets me shoot that fucking smirk off your face," I said, my voice calm. "I'm going to go out on a limb and say you're behind this bullshit. You know, I just paid my rent. If I lose my apartment because of you, I'm gonna be really pissed." He scoffed. "That mortal weapon does nothing to me." However, he paused. "You have spirit. I like that." He moved closer to me and held his scepter to my chest. "But now, you'll fight with me, not against me." He paused, then tapped my chest with his scepter. His eyes were zeroed in on my chest, and I cleared my throat before I shot him in the leg. "My eyes are up here, buddy." "That's not possible." I understood Stark, with his metal heart. "But you are merely mortal. You should be susceptible to my scepter's powers. If you're trying to mind fuck me, dude, mind shit doesn't work on me, and I faced a lot worse than a guy with a power trip. Why are you doing this?" He looked at me pensively, before slowly smirking again. "You haven't heard of me? I am Loki, and I am burdened with glorious purpose." I snorted. "Yeah? And what purpose is that? To win title of worst dressed douchebag in New York? Or to win the title for worst evil planner ever?" His expression grew dark. "You will do well to know your place, wench," he hissed. I looked at him deeply and saw something. A flicker, but it was there, and I dropped my gun. "You don't want this," I stated. He laughed a short breath. "What in Odin's name are you on about?" He spread his arms wide. "This is why I'm here." I shook my head slowly. No, there's something. I see it. You never wanted this. You're in pain, I stated. You know nothing of me or what I want. He grabbed me by my arm and pulled me to him, before flashing us somewhere else. Suddenly, we were on top of a roof, right next to this blue square thing, and a man with unnaturally blue-tinted eyes. They almost looked like sky blue contacts. Listen, I gasped. Give a girl a warning before you do that. That gave me the biggest head rush of my life. I rubbed my temples. Sir, the other man asked, looking at him. Leverage, he stated. I sighed and sat down, putting my foot up on the makeshift desk where a computer sat. Do not put your dirty shoes near my equipment, the man said forcefully, grabbing my foot and pushing it off the table. I could have sworn I saw Loki's eyes narrow slightly. Maybe don't put your equipment near my dirty shoes, I quipped. I know I heard Loki cover that laugh with a cough. I looked at him and stood again. Loki, what's really to gain here? You can't really think this will end well? He looked down his nose at me and sniffed, turning away. I'm merely freeing your feeble kind from the restraints of the perception of freedom. Freedom is your enemy. You just don't know it yet. I couldn't help it. I laughed, and he quickly whipped his head toward me, and his eyes narrowed dangerously. Is that funny, mortal? Yes, I stated. It is, because freedom is not the enemy. Every place in this world that doesn't have freedom is a failing country. Did you even research the planet you're trying to take control over? Because what you're describing is a dictatorship, and those countries don't do too well here. So why do you think the whole world would benefit from it? It's ludicrous. You want power, but you're not doing this under some deranged idea you are helping us. No, you're doing this as revenge. So, at least be truthful. Who are you doing this for? Who are you trying to hurt? And what did they do to hurt you? He didn't answer for a moment, just looked me in my eyes. You don't even seem afraid, he muttered in annoyance. But there was a curiosity there. Why? He demanded. I looked out across the top of New York, at the creatures terrorizing my city. Because I've faced a lot worse than you, Loki, and maybe, on a level, I understand wanting to hurt the ones who hurt you. I turned to him. But I learned that revenge, all it does is hurt you more in the end. And it hurts unnecessary people. People who had nothing to do with what happened to you. People who were victims, just like you. You speak from experience, he stated matter of fact. Yes. Explain then. Who hurt you? There was something in his voice, something that made me answer honestly. In short, I was the one who was used as revenge, and the people I loved suffered for it too. I absent-mindedly traced the scar on my right wrist, and his eyes zeroed in on it. His eyes widened just a fraction. He grabbed my hand and brought it to his face. Looking closely, I let him. You see, Loki, revenge does not bring justice. All it does is spread your pain to everyone else. And while you may not care now, you will eventually. And I've learned it's never too late to stop what you started. He dropped my hand and turned away from me. He didn't answer for a moment, just stared at the chaos around us. I couldn't stop it if I wanted to. This isn't my army. I have no control over the actions they take. They were merely given orders, like I was. I knew I was right. This wasn't what he wanted. Loki, I heard a thunderous yell, and I swiveled to the side to see a man with flowing red hair and a cape, and giggled. Stop this madness. Loki didn't even turn to him. I walked up to him, and turned him toward me, with some defiance on his part. I looked him in the eyes, and unconsciously placed my hand on his cheek, keeping his eyes locked with mine. You may not be able to order them to stop, but you can start by being honest with that big dude with the dress, and helping them stop them. You just need help, and it's okay to need help. He didn't answer, he just stirred. His gaze was confused, and he never broke eye contact as he began to speak. Brother, I have no control over them. I can't stop them of my own will. They're not my army. They were given orders to help me, like I was given orders to take over Midgard. The man stomped up to us. Lies, Loki, always lies, he yelled at him, and I whipped my head to him, feeling a sense of anger for this man, who, in all common sense, I shouldn't feel protective over. Hey, big guy, he's actually being honest. Maybe if you listened, you could come up with a plan together to stop the big ugly fucking aliens, instead of arguing about what his role is or was. I snapped at him. Loki breathed out a small laugh, and I noticed he never gave a real laugh, always half laughs. Okay, what the fuck is going on with me? And who are you? Big guy asked. Hi, I'm Bella, I said, but it came out like a question. Thor, he stated, albeit confused. I nodded and turned to Loki. Loki, swallow your pride, bury the past. Please, save my home. He looked in my eyes deeply, and I felt something warm. What is your magic you have over me? He whispered before sighing. He let me go and turned to Thor. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to stop them. Thor looked at him bewildered. Stark has a plan. Start by letting Eric go. Loki waved his scepter towards the man, and his blue eyes cleared to green. He collapsed on the ground unconscious, and Thor ran to him. Loki looked at me, and somehow, his eyes looked more clear too. His eyes zeroed in on something behind me, and I turned only to see a creature flying towards us screeching. Loki raised his scepter, but was seconds too late. I screamed as it grabbed me by the arm and flew over the city, away from Loki. Loki, I screamed, trying to look at him, but my eyes kept looking down. If this fucker lets me fall, there's no way I'm surviving this. I tried hitting the creature, after weighing my decisions. Either die by this creature's hands, or die from a plummeting death. I'd rather die the plummeting death. The creature yanked me up and screeched in my face, but it gave me the leverage I needed. I grabbed my gun and held it to its head, and pulled the trigger. I screamed as I fell from its grasp, and I started spiraling down. I closed my eyes, then, someone had me in their hold. Thinking it was another creature, and I had just dropped my gun, I started trying to punch the living shit out of them, and heard a grunt. You're not making saving your life very easy. This is just bad manners, the smooth voice said. I stopped immediately and looked at Loki. You saved me? I asked, clutching him now. Why? He didn't answer, just stared straight ahead, using his scepter every now and then to fire at the aliens when they were close enough. And in that moment, I noticed I was tucked into his chest, and even more surprisingly, I realized I didn't mind it there. The dust settled not long after, but not for Loki. Loki still had to answer for the crime of what I now know is the Chitauri army that he was given, and was taken into custody by Shield, as was I. I sat at the table, staring at the clock, as I've been doing for 45 minutes. I sighed before standing up and pacing the room, thinking about Loki. Is he okay? Is he telling the truth about what happened? How much trouble is he in? How much trouble am I in? I shouldn't be in trouble anyways. I mean, I made him see Rizzoni was fighting the fucking aliens, so I should be fine, right? The door finally opened, and the woman I knew as Black Widow sauntered in. She was gorgeous, and had sharp, angular features, and her black suit accentuated every curve she had. Her short red hair framed her face, giving some softness to her sharp cheekbones. I'd never seen her in person before, and what I did see of her did absolutely no justice. Isabella, right? She asked. Her voice was deeper than I thought, but sultry like I imagined. I cleared my throat and sat down in the cold chair I was provided. I go by Bella, please, I told her, quietly. She gave a hum of acknowledgement before she took a seat opposite me, in the replica chair of mine. Bella, then, she started. How do you know Loki? I breathed out a disbelieved chuckle. I met him when he essentially kidnapped me and took me to the top of the roof that Thor found us on. I couldn't help the confused tone. She looked at me with a piercing gaze. And before then? I literally heard of the guy today. Why are you asking if I knew him before that moment? Because according to Thor, and some camera footage, you two were Ekazi, to say the least. Well, I saw through him, and I talked to him. About what? I don't understand what is going on here, Widow. I haven't even gotten to call my dad to tell him I'm safe after he heard the explosion of my building. And I lost my gun. I'm not exactly happy about this situation or being treated like I'm a criminal. We don't think you're a criminal. You sure are questioning me like one. My dad is a cop. I recognize these tactics. So please don't play coy about it. I don't like games. I appreciate straightforwardness and getting directly to the point. Very well then. She leaned back in her seat from her stiff posture. You can call your dad. Do you have your phone? No. I lost it during the shit that was kinda going to shit. She chuckled. You really lack a filter, you know that? It's part of my charm. Nearly dying can do that, you know? She tossed me a phone, and I caught it easily. I quickly punched in my dad's number, putting the phone on speaker. Bella, please tell me this is you. It's me, Dad. I'm okay. I'm so sorry I didn't call you sooner. I kind of lost my phone in the chaos, and it took a while to get someone to let me use theirs. God, Bella, I was worried sick. I'm flying out. I've already booked my ticket. So don't even think of arguing with me, young lady. Where are you? Did you have your gun? Are you safe now? I covered the phone. Where am I? I whispered. She gave me a small smile. Headquarters. Right, because that's specific. I uncovered the phone. I'm with a friend right now. They're keeping me safe. And yes, I had my gun. Extra ammo too. You'd be proud, Dad. I did end up shooting a couple of those language, Bella, things. Dad, you realize I am 20 years old, right? I've heard you say shit since I was born. You're worse than me. Anyway, yes, I'm safe now. And I used the gun, but I kind of dropped it. What do you mean you dropped it, Isabella? Shit. Yumi kind of got a bit more caught in the fray than I intended. You stayed to help. Dad, you said you were getting out of there. God, Bella, you promised. You promised you were done with these stunts. That you were done putting yourself in dangerous situations. And the moment you had an opportunity, you just jumped on it. It wasn't exactly like that, I protested. Bella, stop, please. You need to come home. I can't keep constantly worrying about you and knowing you're there. And that danger seems to follow you at every turn. What would Renee say, Bells? That one statement made my blood turn to ice. I don't know, Dad. Enlighten me on what the woman who you haven't spoken to since I was in the hospital with, and barely spoke to before then, would say. Tell me what she would say from 6 feet under. The line was quiet. Bella, I cut him off. Dad, I gotta go. I'm holding up my friend's phone, and she needs to talk to her parents too. I'll talk to you later. I'll call you tomorrow to meet up when you come to New York. I hung up the call without waiting for a response, and handed the phone back to Widow, who was looking at me curiously. So you have a habit of jumping into dangerous situations, do you? She was trying to joke, but the subject was sore now. I have had an adrenaline-seeking habit in the past. I stayed to help because I saw a little girl, and I couldn't leave anyone else like her unprotected when I have enough capability to do something about it. She sat back and stared at me and thought before she spoke. Loki must have taken an interest in you. I know I have, so have a few others. She stood up and turned to walk out the door. Wait, I called and she turned to me. When can I leave? I don't know what's left of my apartment. Beauty need to find out what to do from here. You will stay in one of the guest rooms of the Stark Tower. Tony has already approved it. When did he do that? Just now. This is your room. Pepper Potts showed me the entire tower at this point. Before she showed me the room I'd be staying in, I took a look into the room and saw a beautiful array of blues and purples, and a large king-size bed in the center of the room. I stepped inside slowly, just taking everything in. Pepper was nice to a fault, and ever so polite. But she was witty and quick with her remarks, especially with Tony, who I had met on my way out of the headquarters to come here. 3 rules. Don't touch my music, my toys, or my Pepper. Got it, okay? I said, confused. Good, then we're groovy. See you tonight. And that was it. When he said don't touch my Pepper, I thought he meant the condiment, not a person. The bathroom is through that door, she pointed out. Do you need anything else? Are you hungry or thirsty? Fresh change of clothes? I perked up. All of the above would be amazing. Do you also mind if I take a shower? I just feel really gross right now, and I'm sure I don't smell too flowery. Of course. I'll place new clothes on your bed, and we can order some new clothes for you when you're done. Tony also requested I give you this. She handed me a sleek black phone. It's to replace the one you lost. I can't accept this, I muttered. This is more expensive than my car probably, and my phone was a little flip phone. Tony insisted, I'm afraid. Don't worry about it. He also said to tell you he needs to speak to you when he returns home. Okay, then. Thanks, Pep. I'll be done quick, I promise. Take your time. Bella, it's no problem. There are fresh towels in the bathroom already, and some shampoo and conditioner. Any other things you might need, such as a razor or washcloths, are in the top right drawer of the sink. Let me know if you need anything else, and I should have food here and ready by the time you are finished. She left with that having been said, and I stepped into the bathroom and gaped. This was the guest bathroom? This was the size of a whole other room, and there was both a standing glass shower that had frosted glass and a jacuzzi couple's tub, and the sink stretched across the entire wall, with a large hanging mirror that stretched just as long above it. I so wanted to use that tub, but I don't favor the idea of sitting in all of the dirt and grime and sweat I know is covering me, so I opted to turn the shower on as hot as it could get, and strip to get in the shower. I grabbed the razor she mentioned, so that I could at least shave. It was definitely needed right now. I stepped under the heat of the jet stream shower, and instantly felt my muscles relax. For the first time all day, I felt how sore my body was, and how much it was hurting. You know, I enjoy a fairly hot shower myself. I jumped and looked around, but seeing nobody here, sighed to myself. Great Bella, going crazy and hearing voices now. That's always a good sign. Just one voice, mortal. I froze. Are you talking to me for real? Like in real life? Well, in a way I suppose this counts as real life. We are talking through a mind connection I created. Can you see what I see? Why? You want to know if I can or have seen you naked? Well, actually yes, because this whole thing is a huge invasion of privacy, and we haven't even gone out properly yet. Gone out? On a date, Loki. I don't do dates. Then you don't get to see me naked. Now go away. Let me shower in peace or I'm gonna close my eyes. As you wish, Isabella. It's Bella. And what? Not calling me mortal anymore? You ask for privacy, then ask me questions when I am attempting to. Yeah, I'm pretty confusing. Part of the charm. This is not charming. It is frustrating and annoying. Not to mention childish. I know you are, but what am I? If you will continue to act like a child, I will punish you like one. Do not tempt me further. My stomach leapt into my chest, and I breathed out a shaky sigh, leaning my head back against the glass and closing my eyes. Ah, you like that idea? Maybe I'll punish you for fun then. Loki, watch yourself. Oh, but I'm busy watching you. You're actually quite acceptable for a Midgardian. Oh yes, because a woman wants to hear that she is only acceptable. Please leave me alone. That hurt my feelings, and now I don't want to talk to you. Wait. I kept my mind blank. That actually did hurt. It ripped open the scar of Edward leaving, and everything he used as a reason to do so. I didn't mean to offend you. Okay, Isabella, you are more than just acceptable. I didn't respond. I kept my mind blank as I finished my shower, and when the water finally turned cold, I turned it off. Is it weird I'm not even concerned with the fact he has access to my mind? How can you do that? Every mind trick any supernatural being has tried on me has failed, even the scepter failed. How did he manage this? It's a spell. It's not mind control, or reading your mind. It simply linked our minds together, so that I may talk to you. Get out of my head then. I didn't like the idea of having my ex-boyfriend read my mind, even though he couldn't. And I like my thoughts to be private. I wanted to see if you were okay. I'm fine. I heard your argument with your father. You were listening then too? Yes, I was a touch concerned about you. How sweet. So you linked our minds so you could spy on me and revealed yourself while I was showering. Aha, I was teasing him, but he didn't have to know that. Quite a trickster you are, Isabella. Damn it, you didn't answer my question before. Because I was avoiding it. Well, don't. No. That both answered his question and told him off. One word, two meanings. You are not close to your father. I am, but he's worried. Ah, about the dangerous tendencies. Wow, you sure listened a lot, didn't you? I was curious about you. That one statement brought a wave of memories, ones I couldn't hide. I didn't mean to bring up a painful memory. I like my choices. I like to make them and have them. Next time, ask me before you eavesdrop. As you wish, Isabella. For the love of God, it is Bella, Bella. I rather like the way your full name rolls off of my tongue. That statement, so flirty yet innocent, had me inhale a sharp intake of breath. And he could see the reason why. You feel this too. I don't know what you mean. I'm curious about you, Isabella. I want to know more. You've casted some spell over me, and I need to understand what it is. I don't know how to do magic, so I'm not a good source of information on what's up with your fascination with me. It's not a spell. It certainly is. Just one you are not aware of. I have no idea what that means. You will. Now, how about you let that scenario play in your head again? I rather enjoyed it. Which one? You know which one. It flitted through my mind, a scenario of him moaning my full name. And he was right. It rolled beautifully off his tongue. It was involuntary, but it was there. Show me what you look like in this scenario, Isabella. No, that's right. No, you don't get to see these right now. But I will eventually? When you take me on a date and make an honest woman out of this mere mortal. That will never happen. I know. You say that in a concerning way. Why? I've come to find many supernatural men take a liking to me. None of you stay or like to fully commit. It's nothing new to me. Can you elaborate? No. I see. Stop that. Stop what? Stop with the condescending tone. I'm too tired to deal with it right now. I'm taking a nap. Bye. I shut my mind off for a moment as I put on the loungewear Pepper set out on the bed for me, before slipping under the warm covers and drifting my heavy eyelids closed. My dreams were filled with green and black with accents of gold, and the skin of the man under them. Isabella, he moaned. Loki, I gasped. He was kissing my neck, biting down lightly every now and then, as his finger did their own magic under my skirt. I pushed him away to rip his clothes clean off his body, and he let out a shocked half-gasp, half-moan, before he started attacking my neck again, and slipping his finger inside of me, gently at first, but alternating between soft strokes and deep plunges. You're so wet, darling. His voice was raspy, and I let out a high-pitched moan as he stroked the inside of me in ways I'd never felt before. Loki, please. I need you. What do you need, my Isabella? Fuck, I need you to fuck me, please. As you wish, my Isabella. He ripped my skirt clean in half and ducked between my legs. I screamed as I felt his tongue dive as deep as he could into my dripping pussy, and my hand shot to his hair. I couldn't stop myself from grinding my pussy onto his face, and he took one hand and moved it to my clit, using his fingers to pinch, flick, rub, and just all around fuck with my clit, and it had me nearly sobbing. With fucking need. I need him. Now. He chuckled and the vibration went straight to my clit, and I arched my back. You want me? Tell me how you want me. I want your cock. Lockapless fuck my pussy with your cock. Such dirty words coming from such a lovely mouth. He moved up my body and stroked my lower lip with his thumb. I will thoroughly fuck you, as you say, but you need to do something for me first. What? Anything. Admit what you feel for me. What? Admit what you feel for me. My blood ran cold. You're controlling this dream. I merely am participating in what you were dreaming about, Isabella. I told you to stay out of my head. Loki, this is an invasion of privacy. But don't you like what I'm doing to you? You feel it as though it's real. Yes, it's because I'm having you actually feel it. Everything I do to you, everything you touch of me, you are feeling it and reacting to out of the dream of unconsciousness. I paused. My body was heavily reactive to him, and my head was clouded with desire. What the fuck was I upset about? I can't remember. Damn it. This is why he's the god of lies and trickery. Suddenly, I felt his fingers deep inside me again, and I couldn't help my body arching and my mouth dropping open as he did so. You are doing this right now, Isabella, he whispered, and I want to do this to you out of the subconscious, but I desperately want to hear you feel the same things I do. I don't know what it is, or what you've done to me, beauty don't hate it. In fact, I'm nearly craving it. I want to hear your moans of pleasure. Hear you gasp and scream my name as I touch you. Hear you beg me for more. Beg me to fuck you. I need you, as much as you need me right now. And while I'm not sure on the reason why, it's been a long time since I felt this way about a female, and I don't want to let this go just yet. His fingers played their secret melody within my body, and I couldn't stop my writhing even if I tried. Yes, Loki, I finally gasped out. I feel it too, okay? I don't know what the fuck it is, but I feel it. I felt it the moment I saw the look in your eyes and recognized it. And I recognized it after you saved me and I was fully against your body. Yes, I want you too. So please, either in real life or here in my subconscious, just please fuck me. He groaned and suddenly, he was there. Wake up, now, he said, and somehow, I was awake, but I was not alone. My eyes snapped open as I felt the warmth of lips crash upon my own, and I moaned loudly before I pushed him off and covered my mouth in horror. They will hear, I whispered. Loki smirked. Noise cancellation spell. Very simple and easy to uphold. It won't release until I let it go. And believe me, I plan to have you screaming, and no one is allowed to hear those beautiful screams except for me. He roughly pushed me back on the bed, and just like in my dream, ducked his head below my waist, and plunged his tongue into me. I screamed as he used his teeth to scrape my clit as he thrusted his tongue in and out of me, one hand pinching and swirling my nipples, the other assisting his tongue with its assault on my pussy. I gripped his hair tightly and yanked him up, and he did so, with a cute confused look on his face. I turned us over so that he was the one lying on the bed, and licked my way down his neck, his chest, his stomach, until I was right at his cock. I don't know when he even got naked, but I'm glad he was. He stopped me in a moment, and I looked up at him, confused. What's wrong? I asked. No one has done that before. I don't want you to feel you have to, he explained, but his eyes were filled with desire and now, I was filled with determination. I didn't respond with words, I just took his entire cock in my mouth and down my throat, and watched him throw his head back and yell out at the motion. His hand flew to my hair and pushed my face flat against his skin, his cock impossibly deep down my throat. He slowly thrust it into my mouth, gaining enough control to look at me as I went up and down on his rock-hard cock. His body was cold, but not unbearably so. In fact, it helped simmer the heat my body was feeling. That's enough, he rasped, and he yanked me off, my lips making a pop sound as his cock was released from them. I pouted as he did so, until he forcefully turned me around, and had my ass in the air and my face buried in my pillows. I moaned as I felt the tip of his hard cock teasing my clit and the slit of my pussy. God, Loki, please just fuck me already, I begged. And without any warning, he slammed his entire cock in me. And fuck me. It hurt. He stopped abruptly. Isabella, his voice was horrified. You know. He pulled out and turned me over to face him, and I couldn't hide the tears. How could you not tell me? I would never. I want you to Loki. It's okay? No, Isabella. You deserve better than that for you first time. And now, I must make this right. It had rarely happened this whole ordeal. But he softly kissed me, and he caressed my cheek softly, catching a falling tear with his thumb. I won't stop if you don't want me to, but this will go differently. I will not fuck you relentlessly this time, but you deserve to feel pleasure when I just caused you immeasurable pain. Don't stop. As you wish, Isabella. He was slower, more gentle, when he aligned himself at my entrance this time. He was rubbing my clit and kissing me softly, distracting me from the discomfort of my pussy, stretching around his large cock, around a cock in general, for the first time. He settled in once he was fully sheathed inside of me, and stayed there, just kissing me, anywhere he could, and continuing to stimulate my clit. When the burning pain reduced, I slowly moved to test the feeling, and I gasped at the shot of pleasure then settled in my lower belly. He realized I was ready, and he started moving. Not fast, but not too slow. One of his hands shot to the bed frame, and he gripped it roughly, and I couldn't help but wonder what they'd feel like wrapped around my throat. His head shot up and he looked me in the eyes. You heard that? Huh? You want me to strangle you? No, not strangle, but choke me, daddy. At this point, I was trying to joke about it, but his eyes darkened, and he quickly gripped my throat in his hands. I gasped as it caused a new rush of liquid between my legs, and my mouth dropped open and head tilted back. I moved my hand to cover his, and used it as a guide of how to increase pressure on the sides of my throat, and decrease pressure on my windpipe. Loki? Yes, my Isabella. Fuck me. I'm okay, please. I need to feel you fuck me. I promise, I'm okay, I want you to please. I pleaded him with my eyes and thoughts, and he groaned before sinking his face into my neck, and he started. And by fucking God, I saw stars. He was choking me, he was pinching my nipples, and most importantly, he was fucking me. I screamed as he pounded into my pussy as hard and fast as he could. It was unreal, how deep he was reaching inside me, how every angle he hit the perfect spots, and even more so, when he spoke to me. Isabella, he ground out, you feel amazing. I need you to come now or I won't be able to hold off much longer. I'm almost there, I gasped. And I was. My orgasm was swiftly approaching with every stroke he made. Loki, harder. I'm right there. Fuck me harder. He obliged easily, slamming into me so hard the claps sounded like thunder to me. I screamed as I came hard, pulsing around his cock. My orgasm brought his on as well, as he groaned my name and sunk his face into my neck as he came inside me. He relaxed slightly on top of me for a moment, before rolling next to me, laying on his back and staring at the ceiling. Isabella? Yes, I'll take you to dinner. When I get out of this mess I'm in. I turned to look at him with a raised eyebrow. Is that so now? You didn't even ask me though. Because you've been relentlessly pushing for it anyways, I didn't think I'd need to ask. Nope, still need to ask. He sighed, the telltale sign of his frustration. Isabella, will you allow me to take you to dinner once this mess is sorted? I would be honored, Loki. Thank you. I kissed him lightly on the lips and laid my head on his chest. And for that moment, there was no confusion about what I felt for the man I met literally earlier this day, who quite literally kidnapped me, who I had to talk reason into not destroying the world. And I wasn't the girl who was broken and an adrenaline junkie, who had trust issues and baggage and dangerous shit constantly after her. It was just him, and it was just me. I woke up, and Loki was still here. He was deeply sleeping, it seemed, and I just took a moment to drink the sight of him in. He looked so peaceful when he was sleeping. His face lost the constant guard, the hardness in his eyes, the tightness in his jaw, and the tension in his muscles. It made him look younger, and more boyish, rather than a man who has seen and been through too much. He was, for lack of a better word, beautiful. If you call me beautiful again, I'm going to regret agreeing to dinner. I snapped my eyes to his closed ones. Little sneak, he's awake, just pretending to be asleep. I am asleep, Isabella, just not here. I have kept my subconscious projected here to stay with you, but I will need to return soon. How do you do that? How can I touch you if you're not really here? You feel like you are? My mind flashed to last night at just how real he had felt. He inhaled deeply. It's really just simple spells. I was only planning to invade your dreams last night, but you were such a temptress, and it sounded so sweet to have my little vixen begging me to fuck her, that I couldn't resist doing it. However, I'm still currently within my prison cell at that building. I wanted to stay with you until I absolutely have to go. Is that alright? Of course, Loki. I hesitated for a moment. You may ask, Isabella. Damn mind connection bullshit. I hate that. Loki, I want to understand. I want to understand you more and what happened. Please tell me. He took a deep breath before opening his eyes, and he laid here, staring at the ceiling, but it was clear his mind was elsewhere. Finally, I saw it. He wasn't telling me. He was showing me. I saw how he grew up in Thor's shadow, as Thor was favored by their father, but he tried to hide it. I saw as his mother taught him magic, and told him it was okay to be different. I saw that he sabotaged Thor's coronation as king, and how he lied to Thor to keep him away. I saw his confrontation with his father, Odin he had called him, on his bluish tint he acquired while touching a frost giant, and I saw his father's confession that Loki himself was a frost giant. And I felt everything he felt in that moment. The horror at being told he was the very monster they grew up hearing about. The betrayal at having been lied to his whole life, for hundreds of years. And I felt as his desire to be worthy caused him to make decisions that caused more messes than solutions. I saw as he let go of Thor's hand and fell off the Bifrost, and how he somehow, after what seemed to be forever, landed at Thanos' feet. I watched in horror as he was broken down and subjected to the Tesseract's powers. How he gave in and agreed to bid war with Earth. But I saw the underlying reason beyond the torture. Thor's love, Jane Foster, was here. And he was still so hurt and angry that it made controlling him easier to do. A part of me acknowledged that this could all be lies, but I felt the truth in every memory, every thought, every emotion he felt as the events played out. And I realized I was right. He was broken, or at least, he felt broken. Loki, I whispered, show me. He bristled, as he knew what I was asking him to show me. No, it is disgusting and abnormal. It is not the skin of a monster. You are not a monster. You are a boy who craved acceptance and belonging. You just had misguided direction. But you are not a monster. I could see he didn't believe me, but I saw in his eyes the defeat, and slowly, he changed. His eyes became a deep bloodshot red. His skin seeped into a rich blue color, and his body became colder. I traced my fingertips along his face, down his neck, never looking away from his eyes. I know you don't believe so, but you are beautiful in both forms. He scoffed and broke his eye contact with me. You are unbearably naive at times, and sentimental. It's all part of my charm. I keep hearing of this charm you supposedly have, but I have yet to see it. His skin and eyes slowly returned to what they were before, and his head snapped to the door. Isabella, I must go. Both of us are about to have our moment interrupted. But I will return when I can. Don't keep me waiting too long. Loki, let me know what's happening with you. I will. He used his magic to put on his clothes, and he sank over me and stroked my face with his thumb. I couldn't bear to look away from his eyes, knowing he would be disappearing soon. He leaned down and gave me a soft kiss that I returned in like, caressing his face with my hand. He pulled away reluctantly. Soon, Isabella. And then, he was gone. I felt the complete absence as soon as he left. Are you still able to hear me? Just as you are able to hear me. Good, because I want to keep talking to you. I like it actually. I thought you hated it. I hate it when I need a private moment. But I like that you never will wonder what I want or what I feel. It will always be transparent and lead to less controversy. You will have to explain your past to me as well. I will, in time. I'm not sure how grand it is to your story, but mine is certainly different but similar and all the same. Very curious. You have my attention, Isabella. How about we start simple? What is your full given name? Isabella Marie Swan. And before you ask, I'm 20 years old. Ah, I see. That's actually quite beautiful. How old are you? Time is relative in my realm. That's a way of saying really fucking old, isn't it? I heard his chuckle bouncing through my head. I suppose it is. Physically, I am 22. If we equivocal Asgardian years to human years, that should be the approximate. Whoa. And how many years do Asgardians live? Approximately 5,000. I felt a rush of pain. Another person I would die long before. And this time, there was nothing to be done about it. Isabella, don't trouble with that right now. It's hard not to. It's something I'm used to though. May I please see, as I showed you? I want to understand your cryptic phrases and insecurities, and why my age bothers you. I debated a moment inwardly, and then, I let it all show in my mind. I showed him how I first saw Edward, and how he first reacted to me in biology. I showed him the incident with the van, and the confrontation in the hospital. I showed him how I found out what Edward was, and how things progressed from that moment. When I showed him what happened with James in the ballet studio, I could hear the tenor of fury in his own mind, and the bewilderment at Edward's restraint in sucking the venom out. I heard in his mind how he flashed back to when he saw the scar that was left behind, and he pieced it together. I felt Loki's fury and sympathy watching Edward leave me, and how I was told I was a distraction. I even showed him the aftermath, the months of depression and being a robot on autopilot, and the decision to move to New York. When I finished showing him everything, he was unbearably silent for a moment too long, then he finally responded. You are not the one unworthy of him. Huh, he was the one not worthy of you. It seems he constantly made your decisions for you, rather than taking into account what you wanted or what you needed. In addition, he left you in the woods, after telling you those despicable lies. Lies? Of course, Isabella. He lied. I'm a silver tongue, I recognize lies easily. He did love you, and you were more than a distraction to him. He probably left thinking, incorrectly, you would be safer without him. However, he failed to realize you are simply wonderful at finding yourself in the most dangerous situations with or without him. It doesn't matter anymore. Why is that, Isabella? Because while yes, I still feel the pain of what he did, I know we weren't healthy together, and I can see how it actually was helpful to me. If he hadn't left, I would have stayed in Forks until he moved and followed him wherever he went, and he never would have changed me. I would continue to age, and he was okay with me eventually dying. And I need someone who will view me as a partner, not a China doll. You certainly are no fragile toy, and either way, his loss is my gain. Is that so? Very much indeed. Our conversation was interrupted with a rap on the door. Come in, I called. Pepper peeked into the doorway and gave me a sweet smile. Good morning, Bella. How are you? I'm great, thank you. I'm sorry I slept so long. I didn't realize I was so exhausted. It's no problem at all. You had an eventful day yesterday. You needed the rest. However, Tony would like to speak to you downstairs in his workspace, when you're dressed, of course. Yeah, sure. I'll head down in just a second. Thanks, Pepper. Anytime, Bella. She shut the door as she left and I sighed, getting out of the comfortable bed and heading to the closet, picking out some jeans and a comfortable t-shirt to wear. Show me you changing. How do you propose I do that? In a mirror, of course. I want to see you. Such a pervert you are. Only for you right now. The words right now stung, as it was a reminder that this wasn't for long for him. For him, this was a fraction of his time. I made my mind blank but did as he said, and headed to the mirror in the bathroom. I heard his groan when I started stripping, and kept my mental voice as silent and blank as possible. You are so exquisite. Every inch of you is supple and perfect. I can't wait to feel you again. Me neither, Loki. If he could tell there was a change in my mood, he didn't comment on it. I tried blocking him out as I dressed, but it was difficult. So I just did it as quickly as possible and left my room, heading to Tony's workspace as he requested of me. I hesitantly knocked on Tony's door, and heard him tell me to enter. I slowly opened the door, peeking my head inside. He was sitting at a large desk, with holographs in front of him, partially obscuring my view of him. I don't bite. Come in and shut the door. Sorry. I quickly went fully inside and shut the door, and took a seat across from him, and started twiddling my thumbs together, waiting for him to speak. Do you know why I asked you to come in here? The holographs disappeared, and I got a full view of Tony's face. His eyes were guarded, but I had a feeling they always were. He was giving off the impersonation of being carefree, with his lean back posture, and his relaxed facial features. But what gave him away was the look in his eyes. Truthfully, no, I don't. Good. I like to keep people wondering. He stood up and clicked a button on his desk, and the holographs reappeared, but this time, I was able to fully see them. They were all of me, or at least files of me. He walked around the desk, and my eyes stayed glued to the pictures in front of me, my eyes flittering between each one. There were pictures of me with my parents, my friends from Forks, my jobs here, and, with a crushing discovery, me with the Cullens. What is all of this? I asked. My voice was more quiet, more hesitant, and I hated it. To my own ears, I sounded weak. This is your file that SHIELD has on you. What I'd like to know, Bella, is how you know Loki, because he's not in any surveillance footage of you. I gave an exasperated sigh. Tony, I was telling the truth at headquarters. I hadn't met Loki until that moment, and I don't know why he took me. Maybe it's because I put a gun in his face? I don't know. You have to ask him, because asking me is a waste of your time, energy, and breath. He crossed his arms over his chest and looked at me with speculation. After he nodded once. I believe you. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't. I'm not really a good liar. Now that I don't believe. He walked up to the keyboard and clicked a few times, and the Cullens were suddenly all over the screens, and I looked away. See, how can someone say they're not a good liar when they lied daily about an entire family, their boyfriend of all people, to the rest of the people around them? That was different. And how was that? His eyes held a curiosity, but a touch of awe, in them, because no one asked me any major questions about them. And if they did, I was honest. Their secrets aren't mine to tell, and if I ever had to say that, it was the truth. Therefore, I didn't lie about anything when it came to them. He stumped and then gave me a sardonic smile. I guess that's true. So if I asked you right now, It's not my business to share. I see. Well, I can't argue with that, nor can I judge you for it. Plus, you don't have to tell me. I already read it in their files. Why would you have files on them? SHIELD keeps files on any person or persons who could hold a threat to the general population. Don't tell me you don't think mythical beings don't fall under that category. I didn't answer, but merely looked away, finding the walls suddenly very interesting to look at. I'm not attacking you, Bella, but Fury is gonna ask you all sorts of questions, and telling him it's not my business to share won't pass with him. Why not? It's the truth. If he has questions, he can find answers with them. Because Fury is above everything else, an agent and a spy, and spies very rarely get their information on subjects from the subjects, if you know what I mean. Either way, I don't have any answers for anyone. Not about Loki, and certainly not about them. Tony looked at me for a moment. For the record, between you and me, you deserve better than to be left wandering in a forest, and I hope you know that. I do know that, but I appreciate the sentiment. The rest of my day was pretty uneventful, mainly spent lounging in my room reading, or venturing downstairs for a snack or meal occasionally. That was, until I got stopped in the kitchen while I was hunting for the secret stash of cookies. Isabella, I heard behind me. I whirled around in surprise, my hand over my heart. There, in the doorway, stood Steve Rogers, who I hadn't seen since that day. It's Bella, I said quietly, before turning back to the cupboard. Bella, he said slowly, as if testing it out. I haven't had a chance to talk to you, but I wanted to let you know I think you're very brave. You, with no extra strength or abilities, fought against an alien army, and convinced the god of mischief to stand down and come somewhat quietly. Not many people would have even thought about doing that, but you did. And I wanted to express to you our mutual gratitude, even if no one else will. Anytime, I guess. I mean, it was the right thing to do. I heard all about you. Soldier, you tried 5 times to get into the army, and kept getting turned down, until someone gave you a chance, and you fought for what was right. So it shouldn't surprise you that there's other willing to do the same, should it? He chuckled. Yes, but like I said, not many would. He eyed the cupboard. Tony keeps his sweet stash in a hidden slack in the cupboards. You have too. He came up behind me and felt around the inside of the side of the cupboard before something clicked, and he pushed it in and sideways, revealing a stash of cookies and sweets. Sweet, thank you. I smiled at him, and he gave me a sincere smile back. So, Bella, I'm curious. Why did you fight? I understand the reasons you gave, but apparently you've had a bit of a danger streak. So some of us are curious if you had other motives? I hesitated for a moment, before I released a sigh. The answer would depend on who you asked. If you asked my father, it would be that I've had an adrenaline-seeking habit for a few years. I didn't ask your father. I asked you. The little girlie was going to evacuate, but I saw her, and she was so scared. I remember feeling that way once, and it made me want to fight for her. But then, it turned into showing myself I'm not like that anymore. I'm not the scared little girl who needed to be saved. So maybe there's a little truth to what my dad would say if you asked him, and what he accused me of. But it wasn't an adrenaline seek. It was to just prove someone wrong about me, and my weakness. Ended.